So, for this matchup, blue team has banned out Lucian, Evelynn, and Thresh. Evelynn's been nerfed pretty hard, but I'm actually surprised. I'm seeing more Evelynn's played since she got nerfed than before the nerf. Lucian I don't think is that strong since the nerfs, but he's still fine. Same with Thresh, he's still very strong. I think there are slightly better champions that they could be banning out on blue side, but none of their bans are like, what the fuck are you doing? Purple team on the split side has banned out Morgana, Kayle, and Fizz. Morgana is a monster right now. You should never, ever, ever let Morgana get through ban phase. Ban phase, you have to take out Morgana. Kayle, slightly buffed in the last patch, very strong but requires an organized team. I'd say it's fine if you're not comfortable dealing with it, but I think there could be better bans used. As for Fizz, very snowbally and it could be a target ban, but I think just as a general solo queue ban, Fizz probably isn't that well used. In terms of picks, they then have a Tristana, Leona bot lane, super strong. Triss didn't really get nerfed that hard this patch. Leona not touched at all, and a lot of the other lanes have been nerfed. Lee Sin, still a powerful jungler, but you have to really rely on his early game strength. If you don't land your early ganks on him, you're going to fall off much harder than you did before the nerfs. Darius top, I think that's the split push Darius guy again. He'll be fine. I'm not really worried about his matchups because he's proven that he's good at split pushing and pretty decent at map awareness, so he should be fine. Then they have a mid lane, Xerath. Xerath mid is actually starting to come back in a little bit. He's going to have to play that really effective... he's going to have to play it really well if he wants to be effective. Circular logic OP. But yeah, Xerath, if he gets ahead, if he's landing his skills, that could be pretty scary. And that can be comboing in quite well with the Leona stun and the Darius pull. So let's say Lee Sin kick or a Darius pull zones off one or more people, then Xerath's going to be able to combo in across those, Leona's going to be able to combo in across those, and Triss is just going to be getting resets all over the place, jumping all over, and she scales so well. On the other team, they have a Jinx Nami bot lane. I actually really like Jinx Nami. I think it's a really strong early game laning phase. That being said, I think Jinx Thresh is a little bit better, but there's nothing wrong with this in any way. A lot of safety for Jinx in that lane because of the bubbles, the heals, the slows, but with the Leona, if you start to fall behind as a Nami, you stay behind. It's actually really painful. And then they have a Trundle jungle, a little bit rare, but if he plays it properly, he'll be fine. A Jarvan top and a Zed mid. My only concern here is they have no significant AP damage. So on blue team, I would expect to see a lot of armor being built up. Something like Sunfire, Randuin's, maybe even a Thornmail if Jinx were to really get rolling or Zed was really rolling. They have so many options here where they can just stack armor. Hourglass on Xerath, Randuin Sunfire on Darius, Randuin's on Lee Sin, maybe Frozen Heart or something on Leona in order to just like dive in and reduce attack speed. So they have a lot of options to deal with the enemy team, and that could pose a problem. Anyways, we are loading in here. I'm just going to make sure this is capturing properly. Okay, so while this is loading in, I'll go back to some of the questions that were being asked in chat, and then we'll focus on this one match again. Someone's asking how are they playing in the match. All you have to do is join the chat rooms. What do you do when the other lane is stopping you farming and applying pressure? Well, you need to not be in that situation in the first place. If they're able to zone you from farm, that means they've already won the lane so significantly that you're done. Like, you don't have a way back into that lane outside of ganks, enemy misplays, or something along those lines. So you then need to either call for help from your team, farm jungle, farm side lanes, wait for them to push back towards your tower so that you can pick up some farm, and essentially manage the wave so that it's staying close enough to your team. Sorry, yeah, to your team's side, I guess would be the correct term, and close enough to your tower that you're able to farm safely. So wave management and freezing the wave is very important if you find yourself in that situation. Someone's asking if Galio is the only good Fizz counter. I don't even consider Galio good versus Fizz. Pretty much the counter to Fizz is having a brain. If you don't let him jump on you, if you harass him down level 1 and 2, you can usually just not make him relevant in any way. Karma's pretty good versus a Fizz. just because of the shield, because your W snares even if they're using their Playful Trickster, and you have a lot of wave clear. Pretty much when you're versus a Fizz, just shove the lane, don't let them kill you, and farm up. Because by pushing in, you stop him from roaming. And by having defensive skills or repositioning skills, you're then not dying, he's not getting fed, and therefore he's not scary in any way. Someone's asking if Xerath is a good support. No, he's a kill lane, he's not a support, and he's not that good. He's like, you can make it work, it's just not that reliable. Same idea as like a brand support. Not good, but can work. Yes, you should be using your E as an escape on Fizz. You never use it to engage unless it's securing a kill. Tips for Akali. Roll your face on the keyboard and pick up a pentakill. No, I guess the biggest tip for Akali would be using your Shroud efficiently to reset the cooldown on your Q. Akali is a mechanically simple champion. What's difficult with her is knowing your limits in terms of damage and how much damage you can receive and output in a short period of time, and managing your positioning properly so that you can get those resets, so that you can get that Shroud well placed, and that you just don't get burst down. Anyways, we're going to focus back on this game now as we are at 100% loading. It'll just be another second or so while the spectator client works properly. Okay, so we are fully into the game here. Leona opting to go for a early... It's not Terragons, it's Relic Shield, I suppose, is the level 1 version of it. Relic Shield with a ward. There's nothing wrong with that. That being said, I personally prefer not to start with a ward. As a support, I need a lot of potions so that I can apply as much pressure as possible in that lane. There's no reason not to do that, because when you have, let's say, 4 potions level 1, as long as you're not getting completely locked down and walking into their turret, you're not going to die. So every trade goes in your advantage because of that potion numbers advantage, that you have those extra healing items. Now I'm actually opted to do the same thing. 1 potion, 1 mana pot, and then 1 ward. I don't like that. 1 half decent engage, and you're then going to be zoned out with no mana. Okay, so no one really invading, and I understand why you might not want to check this bush versus a Leona. In a general game, though, as purple side, you want to rush the tri-bush and just camp it. It's almost risk-free. It's highly unlikely that it's going to actually be a risk, but you have a very easy chance to either get a kill or blow enemy summoners just by sitting in the bush. When they walk in, throw some CC and watch them flash away. So that's one of the things I try and abuse as much as possible in solo queue. I understand why they might not do that, though, versus a Leona, because, well, she could just start Q, use a level 1 triple attack, and make your life a little bit painful. This is the Little Slugger Trundle. Yeah. I actually really like that skin. So pretty standard starts, both people watching their jungle. Props to Darius, actually. He wards out the blue buff. I don't know if that's really necessary versus a Trundle. Maybe it's just I haven't seen a Trundle jungle in a while, but it seems like overkill. I also want to mention that purple team, they overstayed just a little bit on that leash. They're probably going to miss 1 minion of experience here. Maybe not with the changes to experience range. Either way, you generally want to auto attack once or twice and then just walk to lane, and then you're fine. So Darius is very, very strong at level 1, as we can see. J4 is very strong at level 2. So his idea here should be to proc his passive and then just hit each minion once so that you proc your passive on it, do a ton of damage, and rush to level 2 so that you can try and fight back. Both of them actually hit level 2 at the same time here, and nothing really goes down. Alright, so we see the level 2 going in. Very nice bubble, actually. Ignite goes down, heal is dropped, and they just sort of walk their own way. That's the advantage that you can pull off from the level 2 being rushed. If Leona had more potions, though, that would have been 100% win. There's no real risk to that. We see Lee Sin jumping into the jungle, actually. Let's rewind and see exactly what set that up. Alright, so because they had that ward on their allied blue buff, they knew that Trundle wasn't invading. They then waited till he starts the buff. He actually does get spotted by a ward. So Trundle starts to back out, but instead decides to fight. I don't agree with that. That being said, I do want to compliment Trundle because he put Lee Sin closer to the red buff, so that red buff's going to attack him instead. Being said, though, he should not have tried to fight a Lee Sin level 2. It's not going to go in your favor. Also, the Ghost, not going to work. Yeah. At that point, I probably would have admitted that you were going to die and not used Ghost. You needed to run right away. If you ran right away, you would have been safe. Back in the mid lane, we see Zed actually dropping a decent amount of harass onto Xerath. A little bit of CS advantage over to Zed as well. Good mechanics, and we see a kill going over top. Alright, so both people staying quite low. Both people having both Flash and Ignite. So Darius Q comes up, jumps in, pulls, and free combo. Good work. That being said, I don't agree with J4 trying to fight that. Once the pull is used, you kind of need to have all your skills up so you can jump away, or you're going to die. That being said, he might have died anyways. It's very risky trying to fight a Darius at low health. So Zed with the early advantage in mid. He's about double CS, and looks to be showing Xerath out quite nicely. So good mechanics on his part. I'm quite impressed with that so far. Let's take another quick peek bot lane. So Nami not really landing any harass. So on Nami, you generally want to auto-attack W, auto-attack someone. That way, the W comes back and heals you, like that, yes. The W comes back and heals you, evening out the trade, and you come out ahead. It also keeps your Spell Thief procced. If you're not proccing your Spell Thief, then you're going to fall further and further behind in terms of items. So definitely an important thing to do. Second comment, you want to save your bubble, because if you throw your bubble in, then there's nothing to stop Leona diving in onto your carry, leaving you essentially dead. Same thing to Jinx with her traps. You don't want to waste that cooldown. You need it up. Now, CS is pretty much dead even in bot lane. Alright, let's rewind that. So Lee Sin trying to gank with a little too low health. I generally don't want to gank unless I'm at about 80+% health. So then just turns around, boom, free kill. Really good decision making on Zed's part. I'm impressed and quite surprised here that he would think to just, okay, I have just enough damage, let's go in. So that demonstrates knowledge of your champion and their limits. So big props to you, dude. Alright, let's just try and fast forward back to live. Alright, so Darius lands the pull. Not level 6 yet. Neither of them have Ignite. So J4 is actually coming out ahead there. That being said, he has all those alt stacks on him, and he just hit level 6. Boom! So that level up is really going to cost you there. So watching how close someone is to leveling up, crucial skill. Especially in a 1v1 lane, you need to be able to push those level advantages, and Darius did that perfectly. A good engage coming in, and that's what I said. If Leona starts to get ahead at all, then Nami doesn't really have a play to make to get back into the game. Nice, Lee Sin trying for a dive here. Good decision not to do so. Darius just farming it out. Alright, so Xerath, why are you staying there? You have no mana. You're just gonna get ulted. Yeah. Good play. But yeah, on Xerath's side, I don't know why you're staying. You can't really do that. That being said, compliments for buying the double armor, because that is what you need to do. But yeah, he needs to really watch his positioning. Good bubble and trap combo coming in here. Leona ult goes down trying to save them. Ignite goes through though and is enough to take them down. Now, Nami, not quite level 6 here. Flashes, gets the bubble. Very, very nice. E goes on to Jinx. Jinx just needs to swap to rockets. Oh no, she has no mana. She can't. Alright, so that's going to go out. Not going to pick up the kill. If Jinx had just a little bit more mana there, she would have been able to use her rocket form to land the slow, and then they would have been able to get some extra auto attacks on, finish off the kill. I would like to see Lee Sin pressuring Dragon. Not right now, but if you're forcing out someone, let's say you see mid lane go back, let's say you've killed their jungler, just as a hypothetical. As soon as you get a numbers advantage in the bot side of jungle, you want to take away Dragon anytime you can. And Lee Sin does take Dragon quite efficiently. Just abusing his passive, abusing his lifesteal and shield on his safeguard. He could do it quite well. It's not going to happen right now, obviously, but I would like him to keep that in the back of his mind. So CS drastically going in Zed's favor now, as we've seen. He is 2-0-0 with about double the farm. That's awesome for him, and the next step, I would say, would be to start roaming. Whenever your ult's up, either one-shot your opponent mid lane, or try and get into another lane and build that advantage elsewhere on the map. Yeah, his Ignited and ult are up here. So if Lee Sin were to go in, I would not be surprised if Zed just decided to dive and pick up a kill. Because he does have Cutlass. He has Ignite, like he has so much right now. He can just one-shot people. Alright, so blue being given over to Xerath, although Xerath is not responding. Alright, looks like he is now. Nope. Giving it over to Lee instead is probably not the worst idea ever, just because there is so many issues here for this Xerath. Alright, so Trundle trying to sneak around for their blue buff, but it's already gone. Down in bot lane, another engage. Leona lends her ult. Nami re-engages, though. Nope. Not going to be able to pick that up. A little bit sloppy, actually. Let's rewind that. I want to point out some of the things that went poorly. Alright, so Leona's in a very good position. Jumps over the Nami bubble. That's why you don't want to waste your Nami bubble. Traps go down from Jinx. Tristana, though, is just able to sit here and combo in onto Nami. Leona ult goes down. Trist procs it, and picks up a kill. So, that's one of those things where just don't use a cooldown if you don't have to. Alright, Darius pulling in J4 yet again, landing a lot of damage. It's actually 2 levels up. That being said, Trundle is coming in behind. This could be a good play. Now, the thing is, if he locks himself in with Darius, he could be at trouble. I'm a little surprised he didn't go in earlier. Alright, so Flash goes down. You need to cancel your ult fast. Good job. Ghost goes down, and Trundle picks up the kill. Very nice play. I would have liked to see J4 leading that fight, though. Knocking him up, then allowing Trundle to push him back with his pillar, slow him, and then you can follow up after he flashes with the J4 ult because you're already in range. Another thing Zed could do to force his advantage would be taking away wraiths on both his and the enemy side. He's going to get a huge CS advantage if he were to do that. It looks like he's content just to stay mid instead. Alright, Xerath lands a stun, but it really doesn't matter because he doesn't have any damage at this point, and he's versus someone who has lifesteal. So Xerath's play at this point is just use max range Qs to farm. That's the only thing you can really do. Lee's trying to come in. Xerath lands a Q, backs out a little bit. Lee goes in, and gets immediately ulted. So, Lee needs to kick. He's dead. Yep. That being said, Lee does pick it up with the dot. I was a little bit sloppy. Okay, so Xerath needs to watch where people are going to. The first ult connected. Lee had to ult him away then, so you know that he's going to be pushed back. Wait till after that ult gets dropped, and then ult where he's flying to, because as soon as you see the animation, you know approximately how far he's going to be pushed, and you can then follow that through. Let's rewatch the bot play though. So Nami, going a little too close yet again. Traps going down very nicely, but not going to be enough to save them. Triss just standing, picking up as much damage as she can. Good decision. Leonald's a little bit off, but it doesn't matter at this point. As soon as Leona Triss gets ahead, they're just going to keep winning that lane. You do not come back and win that, in my opinion. Just dealing a ton of damage here with that Stack Shave Rush. Alright, so Leona, what I wanted to see there is as soon as you've landed the CC, Triss can finish the kill. Just walk straight out of tower, you'd take 2 less tower shots and you'd be perfectly fine. But you're still in behind them, so Jinx has nowhere to run. If she tries to follow, well, you can still pick up the kill. Now, looks like Trundle's going for a sneaky dragon here. I don't think anyone's going to stop him as he's not caught out by any wards, but he's going to get pretty damn low. He will have smite though. Oh, this is going to be close. There it is. So good decision. Keep an eye on the timer for that, so that way you don't lose it to the enemy team. Yeah, Trundle's pretty good at clearing the jungle at low health just because of his passive. Alright, pink ward being cleared out. Back in top lane, I just want to take a quick look at this. About a 30 CS advantage for Darius in addition to his 3 kill advantage. So he's massively ahead in gold and of course up 2 levels. That means he has 2 points in his ult, so he's pretty much free to fight anytime he wants. I'm actually surprised that he didn't go for one final auto attack ignite ult, because he would have been able to kill that with a Hydra. All he needed was auto attack, Hydra active, ignite ult, and he would have got that kill, I think, because he would have had 5 stacks. I do not use mouse acceleration. I use it, it's turned off. Lee Sin's coming up, but is spotted out by a ward. I actually don't agree with Jarvan's decision to stay here. I don't know what he expects to have accomplished. I guess maybe he just wants to soak up experience. Let's rewind and just watch that Jinx fight. Alright, so Triss going a little bit ham. Nice bubble comes out from Nami. Ignite goes down. And Leona is not able to body block it. Leona does get the kill, so good job. That being said, you want to be able to block skill shots like that. Body blocking as a tanky support is crucial. So just standing in front of Jinx so that they cannot get to your AD carry would have made that fight go a little bit better. And Zed just walking his own way. Yeah, Zed's ult's not quite up, so he's not going to be able to do anything there. So Swain, sorry, I'm calling him Swain because that's his name. He's actually playing Xerath. Xerath, if you're going to play that champion a little bit, I might suggest practicing your last hits in a custom game, because you're not lining up your skill shots to hit the full wave, and you could be farming in a much more efficient manner. So I might just suggest a little bit of practice in that area, because that would allow you to farm just that little bit safer. So we see Boots of Mobility coming out from Zed. That's an indication that he is going to want to gank. Although I haven't seen him roaming, I haven't seen him picking up jungle farm yet. So that's something I really would like to see happening. Right as I said I wanted to see him ganking. Here he goes bot lane. He is spotted out by a ward on dragon though. So, I do want to just point out, Lee Sin has landed a couple ganks now, but he really has a strong influence on the early game if he wants to be effective since the nerfs. Alright, so, Zed ult goes down, forces Lee to flash away. Oh, why are you staying? Okay, so, you know that his ult's down, but you've already seen the damage he can output. So staying there just is a huge risk. If Zed wanted to, he could have bounced to the clone, auto-attacked, and used Cutlass active. No, he used his Cutlass in the last fight, sorry. But I still feel he could have secured that kill if he re-engaged. It would have been risky, and I don't suggest doing it, but if he wanted to suicide for a kill, he could have. So Leona caught a little bit out by traps, but doesn't matter because she's just going to land crazy CC. We see the Ghost coming in from Trundle. Lots of auto attacks going down, jumps over the traps. Zed coming in from the side. Not quite able to connect properly. Uses his clone and then immediately gets ulted away. You generally want to save your clone for them using an escape like that or a knockback like that. I would have allowed him to get back in range. He still had flash. I think he could have picked that up. Alright, so we see Zed again, just able to pick up a lot of damage. Xerath, I have so many things that I could say, but anything I would say wouldn't be overly constructive. And that's not me just being like, oh god, you're trash. No, definitely not. But my concern is that any comments I have boils down to general gameplay. And that's one of those things that can be quite hard to teach in this sort of environment. I can say, you need to watch your positioning. Okay, but what does that mean, right? So for him, I've mentioned a couple things in terms of not wasting cooldowns because you need them to avoid them diving onto you. Working on your last hitting a little bit in a custom game. But outside of that, all I can really recommend is you might want to watch a couple YouTube videos on just like how you should be positioning in lane. Maybe watch a couple pro players playing Xerath. It might give you some good insight into how to play your champion a little bit more efficiently. And just pay really close attention to where they're sitting in lane and how aggressive or defensive they're playing in various situations. Because that's just, it's one of those things that it's so very hard to try and teach in this sort of an environment. Lee jumps over. Decent play there. I like the Leona ult. That was well placed. Jarvan coming in from behind. I think they needed to be on Jinx there. I don't know why they're ignoring them. Jinx still alive. Gets taken down by the Xerath. Paul goes in. And he's going to be able to walk away. So that was sloppy. I'm going to point out a couple things that needed to be done better there. Okay, so let's slow this down. So Lee does not get hit by the zap. Leona has her E and has her ult here. So I'm surprised that they didn't go onto Trundle. Because you don't have... Well, you did have vision, but you're not going to be able to connect on that. So Leona needed to play that a little bit better. Then once that happens, you do land the ult, and it was reasonably well played. They land a quick kill onto Nami. So good job on that. That's going to reset the jump on Trist. You still have your heal, so you need to jump onto Jinx, not onto Trundle. Because I don't know why you're focusing Trundle when he's not the damage. And again, you're jumping onto Trundle and grouping up for the AoE rockets. Jarvan's now able to group. No one's on Jinx, no one's on Jinx this entire fight. Jarvan then jumps over, doesn't land any knockups, so that's a little bit odd or a bit of a misplay. But he is then going to be able to pick up Tristana. And again, Jinx is still alive. No one went on to Jinx. And unfortunately, Xerath and Darius got a little bit kited out. I wanted to see Darius going in behind. He was so focused on killing Jarvan that he didn't cut off the rest of the enemy team. Now, Leona doesn't have stun for 6 seconds, so she's not going to be able to land this. I don't see... Outside of the original Zenith Blade and her positioning, I don't see any large misplays there. Also, Xerath wasn't quite able to land a lot of his combos. Like, you're not charging stuff up long enough there, and you're slowing yourself down so you can't get in range for a stun. Whereas what you might have done, and I'm not saying he should have, but he could have flash forwarded, walked, and then used a max range E to try and land the stun right across here, and then followed up with a Q. I'm not saying he should have done that, but that's something to consider. Alright, and they're then taking Dragon off of that. Good decision. Alright, Jinx regrouping mid. Nice stun onto Darius. Sorry, not Darius. Darius is in the bush. Oh, lordy. So, Zed gets cancelled out a little bit, but not a whole lot happening mid. This Darius' positioning, I don't agree with it. yes, you're in behind, but Lee's off in jungle, Triss is off in jungle. So, are you going to 1v1 both of their carries? It's not like these carries have no damage. So now Triss is cutting them off, that's fine. Ugh. Okay. So Triss, you want to save your ult for when he uses Zed ult. Zed lands a lot of damage, ults onto Tristana. Now you don't have your ult, so you can't push him over when he does that. Darius, unfortunately because of the Trist ult, wasn't able to pull them in. And then just poor communication on this. So now Lee Sin lands a Q, not able to connect. You have your W up, so yeah, jump to a minion, good job. Xerath returning as much damage as he can. I don't like this build on him, actually. Just sloppy play from blue team there. They weren't organized, and they were trying to pick a fight that they didn't want. Alright, so that's going to be a turret for them. Alright, so that's going to be a tower down. Leona, what are you doing, hon? Alright, so again, Tristan is getting ulted. So this is when you want to ult them away. You know, he opts to go with the jump instead. If he stayed in range, I think he might have been able to pick up the kill onto the Zed. Landing a lot of damage here. You need to ult him away right now. Ult, ult, ult. You have your ult. What are you doing, Trist? What are you doing? So waited way too long on that ult. You're now dead because of the drain. Leona's still dueling Zed. That's actually impressive that he lived that long. So that was poor communication. Number one, Leona and Tristana, you need to be focusing the same target. If you have to go on to Trundle, that's fine. Focus Trundle. You don't have to focus the carry. You focus whoever you can hit safely. Second thing is you had your ult that entire fight. I don't know what you were doing. You can't let him get into melee range or he's going to steal your AD, he's going to burst you for a lot of damage, and he's going to slow you. So yeah, that was just poor play, poor communication also. So actually, the thing to point out is that the gold is still quite even. It's about 1.5, well, I guess about 2k gold now. So that's pretty much just boiling down to the kills that Tristana and Darius have versus the farm, and of course some kills as well, that Zed has. The Zed farm is actually really quite good. That's one of the things that I mentioned earlier, though, is that I would like to see him pressuring that advantage in other lanes. I think that he could have leveraged that advantage a little bit more. But now we do see he has scaled up. He's going for a lot of split push, so I like that. And he's able to just sort of walk away with his lovely shadows. Yeah, Tristana's landing a ton of damage here, but she needs to stick with her team a bit. Yeah, just trying to fast forward back to live here. Alright, good job. Just pick up any CS you can here. Infinity Edge Static Shiv finished. I'm actually expecting her to go Blade of the Ruin King over Bloodthirster, but either would be a perfectly fine option. The reason I'm suggesting Blade of the Ruin King is because, well, you do have a Trundle and Jarvan on the enemy team, so there's a little bit of health stack to deal with late game. But more importantly, you have a lot of people trying to jump on your face. So the extra burst damage and healing and kite potential that it offers could be a good option. Oh. Not sure what was happening there. So Jinx saw him approaching. I'm surprised that she didn't try and initiate the fight. So now Zed ults in. Tristana has her ult. So you need to ult immediately. You can't wait. You can't wait. You're dead, probably. No, I think the heal will probably save him. Alright, but that being said, when you have your ult, as soon as Zed finishes using his ult, you have to push him away. And the reason for that is because when you have that mark on you, you take increased damage from all of his skills. So you have to cancel out his auto attacks and skills before he can use them. Alright, so just got a dragon dance going on here. Zed did use his ult already, so keep that in mind. Nami ult only able to connect onto... Oh, okay, misplay here. You need to be staying out of Jinx's range. You're Tristana, and you're level 14 now, so you have some decent range. You have your jump up. I don't know why you keep tanking their melees. That's something you really need to work on, is just orb walking and positioning. And then you misclick and walk back in, but it doesn't matter because Trundle turns onto Xerath instead. You have enough attack speed there. You could probably just have burst him. Alright, so Xerath has his stun back up in 2 seconds, has his barrier up now. Leon is going in. I don't agree with this. Tristana, you need to be outputting damage. Alright, so now you've jumped in a little too close, and you're going to get killed. So Tristana, you need to work on your orb walking. You need to start using attack move. By default, it's the A key, because you seem to be misclicking a lot and wasting a lot of auto attacks. You could have easily killed all of them there with just proper positioning and just chaining your auto attacks the entire time. In the meantime, Darius is up split pushing top, which is what we know him for now. Lands a pull. Jinx is in on the side though, so he's going to get taken down very, very quickly. Good job. I like the bait coming in there for Jarvan. Jarvan. Yeah, we need more people to play in the next game, so make sure that you are in the proper chat rooms for the workshop. Alright, so it looks like they're going to try and go on to Lee. Lee's just going to ward jump away. Perfectly safe. Alright, Darius might get collapsed on here. J4's going in behind, but Trundle opts to just sort of walk away. So I would expect Darius to still win these duels, even though there is level 16 on J4. So all goes down, landing some good damage, but you have to keep in mind the burst damage. His team has now collapsed. Get the flash from Darius. Okay, so Darius is now sort of just leading them on a chase. They need to ignore them and push the tower. Obviously the minions aren't there, so keep that in mind. But you gotta be careful here. Alright, so traps go down. Nami not taken down by the ult. They pick it up just in time. So, good combo there to pick up the kill. That being said, I'm surprised Darius stopped running. He was a little bit greedy there and tried to pick up the kill. Ooh, bubble lands onto the Trist. No knock up here from J4. He's already used it. He's just sort of positioning as far forward as he can. A lot of damage going down. Jinx, I want to see you using your rockets here. Still in minigun form. Alright. He stops just long enough, and Jinx is able to catch up. That being said, Jinx should be using her rockets here. Alright, so instead of locking yourself in place to use Zap, all you needed to do was use your Q to switch into rockets, auto attack, step forward, auto attack. You have your passive on you, and it will... You're not going to die in 2 tower shots, but he will die in 2 auto attacks. So yeah, that's one of the biggest things I see with low elo AD carries, especially Jinxes, is that they stop and use skills rather than auto attacking. The skills are fine, but you use them when they're out of range for normal attacks. Alright, so that's a very quick tower over to them. In the meantime, Zed is pushing up top lane. It's a really nice split push from him because no one can really deal with him. I'm actually surprised that Purple Team isn't taking this inhibitor because Zed is applying pressure. If they come to stop Zed, you get inhib. If they don't go to Zed, well, you get top tower because he's applying pressure. Alright, Zed just leading them on another chase. Oh, not able to connect on that. Nami, I don't think you had to use the ult there, but I'll give you the benefit of a doubt. Zed and Darius just start walking past each other. Alright, so Zed actually needs to escape because they are getting in behind him a bit. Yeah, he's running just in time. Not able to connect on the pull, and then he just shadows away. Even if he did get pull, he would have just jumped to the shadow right after. Alright, another tower over for them. In the meantime, Zed's trying to come in on the side. Oh, no, he goes back to his own tower pushing ways. Frostwing claim coming out from Nami, providing a good amount of safety for her team as they retreat, and then Trundle's going to try and take bot lane. Trundle, you probably need to back out, though. Yeah. He's going to be fine, though. That being said, he keeps pulling people down, and Zed's getting a lot of pressure on. Lee just Schwartz jumps away. Good reaction time there. And Trundle's going to take away a dragon. I like the dragon control here. They've really focused that in the last 20 or so minutes of the game. I like them taking that away anytime they can. So we see some pings going down onto Baron. I believe those were just from the blue team, though, so they want to make sure they have vision of it. Purple team's not really taking it right now. That being said, I want to see them forcing that soon. What I might like to see is send Zed bot lane to try and take out this inhibitor. If they show anyone bot lane, just take Baron. Just take Baron. Boom, it's yours. Alright, so Nami ult connecting across all of them. Trundle's busy pushing top lane, so that's why purple team's not trying to fight. A lot of damage onto Nami, she's forced to flash away. So, purple team, you need to stop their recalls here. Just force them out. Okay, that was odd. G4 decided not to hit the person recalling. Tristana gets chased through by the ult. And, of course, Zed just picks it up with the mark. Very nice Jinx combo there, too, getting the ult on them. In the meantime, Lee Sin and Leona trying to deal with this massive, massive troll beast. He gets the inhibitor and the tower. He's going to be taken down, but totally worth it on their side. They still have 4 people up. They can either Baron, because it's 4v2, sorry, 4v3, they're not going to be able to do anything, or they should take the bot inhib. I suppose they could take mid inhib as well. They do have minions pushed. So Jinx using the traps just to stop them from collapsing in. That being said, she just gets a little bit too close. She should be standing behind minions generally. Speed belt goes down, and she just rockets away. Nami ult coming through. Zed, ignite. Nope, he's not going to be taken down. Leona tries to go back in, and Jinx gets the kill. So now they actually have that second reset. That being said, though, Darius is coming up in 5 seconds. J4 has re-engaged onto them. Nice zap coming out from Jinx, and that's going to be a second inhib. At this point, I want to see them back out. As much as as a third inhib would be nice, it would be too risky. It's not worth the struggle. Oh, and Nami just barely lives. Okay, so at this point, it is purple team's game to end. What I want to see here is just force a Baron, because you've already taken both of their mid and top inhibitors. So those lanes are going to be pressured on their own. If you really want to be fancy, send Zed bot lane to split push and apply pressure. But let's face it, you can just team fight. You can team fight, you can end the game quite easily just by forcing Baron and then walking up mid lane. Alright, so I see a couple people trying to split push top. That's not going to go well for you. Alright, J4 lands the ult. That being said, it's Lee Sin, so using the ult before he's used his escapes is usually unwise. I dodged out of the zap, but Zed is here. Zed is here. Nice kill over to J4. Boom! Jinx Rocket comes through. And the Trundle. Trundle's just going to take away this tower. Oh my lord, the Thornmail. Oh, 100 to 0's Triss just with the Thornmail, and then walks away. The Troll King is king. Alright, so Jinx just landing a lot of damage here. That should be the end of the game. So, really good game, everyone. A lot of back and forth. Some good plays on both sides. We had a lot of advice to go through, which is what you want. Total Stomp is no fun for anyone. So, really good work, all. Also, thank you for presumably ending the game, which I'm assuming you're about to do here. And really do appreciate that, not just stalling it out and wasting everyone's time. Okay, awesome job. I'm going to go over general item builds, and then we're going to start up the next match. You guys are able to play in a second workshop game if we don't have enough people. That being said, we do try and give priority to new viewers and people who have not already played today. I'm going to do a quick breakdown of items, and we'll then go from there. I want to give big props to Trundle, actually. I really liked his playstyle overall, and his build worked amazingly for him. Now, I did mention in the pre-game that they can pretty much just stack armor. Now, we did see a lot of that done, but it just wasn't quite enough. It started to pull them back in, but they weren't able to run away with it. But I would like to compliment them for building items that counter the enemy team. You really don't want your build set in stone. Don't just build the same items every single game. So good armor stacking coming out. Nami, I'm not personally a fan of Twin Shadows. I would have preferred probably Locket, because you are dealing with a Leona, you're dealing with Xerath. There's some good AoE damage coming out. And there's also a decent amount of mixed or magic damage. So having the Locket might have been a slightly better option. And you already have Frost Queen's Claim to chase or peel. But having to... there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just not personally a fan. Jinx. No complaints with your build. I might have liked to see this upgraded into a Bloodthirster, but that would have been late game, and having the Guardian Angel was very useful on you. So nothing really wrong with that. Good work. I like the idea of a Black Cleaver, but I don't think you both need to have it. I think there was a little bit of miscommunication there. I think that Zed probably should have gone for a Ghost Blade, just because the active does help with his ult a little bit more. And then that they could have run the Black Cleaver on J4 if they really wanted, and that might have been a little better option, because you know they're going to stack armor versus you, so reducing percentage armor, combining with the Last Whisper, that's going to be super effective. It looks like they were going to go into a Banshee's Veil. I'm a little bit surprised that there was no Sunfire Cape on either top... oh, no mind, they did build the Sunfire Cape. I'm just dumb. I'm surprised there was no Sunfire Cape on J4, but he really didn't need it. He did quite well overall, so good job there. Switching my focus back to the blue side, Lee Sin, I would have liked to see one damage item. Personally, I like to see like a Tiamat or something, just so you have an opportunity to wave clear, you have some faster jungling speeds, and you have the possibility to assassinate people a little bit better. And then from there on, you can go tank. That being said, he needed to be landing some early ganks. I did see him try and go mid for Xerath a couple times, and I didn't see a lot of coordination there. So that could have just been a communication issue. I'm not in the game, so I can't really say for sure. But because of the nerfs, Lee Sin has to get ahead early, or he's going to fall off much harder than he used to. Oh, he's not allowed in? Okay. Okay, so apparently Teabag was insulting people. There is no negative attitude allowed in these games whatsoever. If you're going to insult other players, go do something else. We're here to have people learn there's going to be bad play. That's the point, is that there's going to be mistakes, and we can then offer advice on how to fix those mistakes. So don't be a cunt. That's what it boils down to. Leona, lots and lots and lots of armor. Looks like she was going towards a... I can never remember the item. Frozen Heart. Frozen Heart. That's what she was building. So that would have given her a good amount of CDR, 30%. Fine with that. Just on a standard build. I might have liked to see a Blade of the Ruined King for extra peel potential, but for the most part it just boiled down to playstyle that was getting her caught out rather than itemization. So perfectly fine. Darius, really good build, abused it very nicely. He was quite effective. I might have liked to see some lifesteal because he was losing some of the mid to late game duels. But outside that, it's fine. I really don't like Tear of the Goddess Morellonomicon on Xerath. I'm assuming it's imitating a pro build, and there's nothing really wrong with it, but you're just gimping your early game by so much that I'm just surprised that you went for this. Also, Morellonomicon, who's that to counter? I guess Trundle? Like, there's not that much healing on the enemy team, but it would be a good pick versus Trundle. But I only really care about Morellonomicon if they have, let's say, like, a Nasus, Volibear, Nidalee, like a whole bunch of constant healing. I just think it could have been a better pick if you went like a Void Staff or finished even his Archangel Staff to have a little bit extra defense. I just think there could have been better options there. Anyways, thank you so much for playing in that game, guys. We are going to start up the next